expansion.
Yeah, it's funny because this whole COVID experience and that, I think I've done a lot more spiritual realization and, dealing with God's been good in a sense of taking me back to paths and showing me why I did things that I did, and this whole spiritual journey that I don't think would have happened if COVID didn't happen. Do you know what I mean? And having these last 6 months of, a lot of spare time, a lot of scaling back to zero on a lot of things. So there's been a lot of
traveling within.
Yeah, a lot of self realization in that sense. So I thank God for this time in a sense to reflect on. Let's say. So it's funny you bring that up as well because it was. I started out, not really a big drinker, not like my grandparents. My parents never drank, never smoked. No one in my family smokes.
Yeah.
No one in my family were big drinkers or alcoholics in a sense. And here I am from the age of, 18 plus, going out from Wednesdays to Sundays and only having Mondays, Tuesdays to recover, and then doing that for God knows how many years, and then balancing between TAFE as well and all that stuff. And mate, I actually do not know how I afforded any of it as well.
Yeah.
And by the time I hit the cross, and a lot of the things that I said I'd never do, like drugs and pills and all that stuff, ended up just being a checklist of things I would do.
Yeah, it was like the most normal thing.
100%.
Yeah.
And you brought up something a couple of months ago, and another footy player that I was chatting to, who is now a counsellor, he said this, and it never clicked with me, but obviously the adrenaline or the rush or the hype or the high that you get from performing in front of crowds and seeing crowds go off, and that aura that
of course,
that
the
high,
high,
the high, and and then throwing drugs into it as well amplified the high, and then when you
drop.
100%. And it's funny, like the whole world loves to glorify, I fucked a lot of bitches, drank, got bottles popping, drugs popping, this, that, but no one ever tells you about the come down. No one tells you about the broke experience.
Yeah, man.
No one tells you about the whole, regret or guilt that comes with it, banging a lot of people, like banging a lot of girls and things like that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I clearly remember.
And getting yourself in shitty relationships and wrong relationships.
Yeah, of course. Well, you're not
that,
centered. You're not balanced here.
No. So
I remember a bit of that too, man. Being young and coming off stage and things, and feeling very deflated, and but so back to what I'm trying to get.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry, man. This is awesome.
Yeah.
There is no right or wrong.
It's our podcast.
It is what it is.
We can say what the fuck we want to say.
We'll be here for another 2 hours saying nothing. Paulie can talk. Anyway.
Wake up, Paulie.
My man.